Now, Gal Gadot not only didn't want to be seen with Rachel and even exchanged some words with Zegler, Gal reportedly told Zegler herself that she never wants to be seen with Zegler again on live television.
It just takes a beloved movie and makes it much more boring and much less realistic. The movie is really, really bad.
Disney doesn't know what a Disney princess is anymore, which is crazy.
Hollywood's latest bombshell has everyone talking. Gal Gadot may have just clapped back at Rachel Zegler following a shocking shakeup from Disney. And the fallout is absolutely explosive in what was supposed to be a dazzling reimagining of a timeless fairy tale.
But the lead actresses, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, are making it very, very difficult for me to believe that there is anything redeeming about this project whatsoever.
Things behind the scenes took a sharp turn. What began as a bold collaboration between Gadot's iconic screen presence and Zegler's modern vision spiraled into creative clashes, canceled appearances, and behind-the-scenes drama that's now impossible to ignore.
But the primary suffering is being sent in by my company to watch a children's movie as a single man, like 2 p.m. on a Thursday. That was the first part that was a little bit weird, but I was basically the only person in the theater.
From last-minute promo mishaps in Las Vegas to growing whispers about DEI-driven casting changes, fans and insiders alike are questioning whether Disney's bold new direction is steering its legacy into dangerous waters.
Disney's Snow White was essentially a box office dud. Early estimates suggested that they would take in 48 to 58 million in the first weekend. Apparently, it did 43 million in its first weekend.
With Gadot's alleged frustrations leaking into the public and Zegler's uncompromising push for change turning heads, this isn't just a feud. It's a cultural flashpoint that could reshape Disney's future. It was supposed to be Disney's next big triumph, an ambitious reimagining of Snow White.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
With a modern twist, a powerhouse cast, and a $300 million budget behind it. The buzz was electric. Gal Gadot, fresh off her role as Wonder Woman, was cast as the evil queen, regal, commanding, and dripping with screen presence. Alongside her,
very few people wanted to see this. Even the little kids who like Disney movies, even they don't seem to be turning up in droves for the movie because the movie is really, really bad.
Rachel Zegler, a rising star known for her vocal talent and fierce spirit, was chosen to play the title role. But what began as a high-stakes creative venture soon unraveled into a storm of clashing visions and behind-the-scenes tension.
$270 million. Obviously, it was going to win the box office. It's the biggest movie at the box office this weekend. But, for example, Disney's Cinderella, which for my money is still the only good live-action Disney remake,
that Disney could no longer keep under wraps. As fans eagerly awaited updates on the project, something strange started happening. Marketing slowed down. Interviews were canceled. Public appearances disappeared. And then, a bombshell.
The fact that it's about the humanity and it's about nature as well, and it's a beautiful story about an amazing girl who wants to find the true self of hers.
Both leading actresses were absent from a major Las Vegas promotional event without explanation. Whispers turned into headlines. Fans started digging. Was there a falling out? Were creative differences to blame? And where exactly did the tension begin?
And so I've got some bona fides here on being fair. The movie was absolutely terrible.
Insiders claim the seeds of discord were planted early. Zegler, vocal about her desire to reshape the story, reportedly pushed for changes that clashed with Disney's legacy. And, allegedly, with Gadot's vision of the film. The friction wasn't just about script changes.
It's going to be a gigantic box office failure. But the trend that you're noticing is that the worst performing of the Disney movies, in terms of live action remakes, are basically everything in the last 5 years.
It was about what Snow White represents in 2025. One actress pushing forward, another standing her ground. And when neither showed up to promote the film, fans knew something bigger was going on. It wasn't just a scheduling issue.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again.
It was a signal that the perfect fairy tale had turned into a real-world drama. But that's not even the worst part. because what came next took the feud from rumors to undeniable reality. The tipping point reportedly came when simmering tension finally burst.
And that is a combination of wokeness and the pandemic. And now you better have a good reason to get people to the theaters, and this ain't it.
Into public view. While Gal Gadot maintained a composed image in interviews, insiders suggest that she was growing increasingly disillusioned with Zegler's persistent push to overhaul the classic narrative. And here's where things start to get messy, because insiders claim...
Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once, and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again.
This wasn't just a disagreement over lines in a script. According to multiple outlets, Zegler's vocal critique of the original Snow White wasn't just artistic ambition. It felt, to some, like a complete rejection of the very foundation the film was built on.
In every way that the movie differed from the beloved 1937 original, it was worse.
And the clash came to a head during a high-profile promotional event in Las Vegas. Both stars were scheduled to appear side by side, but in a shocking twist, neither showed up. The abrupt cancellation sent a ripple through the industry, with whispers that behind-the-scenes negotiations had unraveled at the last minute.
The movie apparently is not very good. I haven't seen it yet. I would be shocked if it were. Again, the star, Rachel Zegler, is unbelievably charmless in public.
That was the moment the house of cards began to fall. One industry insider reportedly said, noting that the no-show wasn't just a missed opportunity. It symbolized a total breakdown in unity. Public opinion began shifting fast. Social media lit up.
So I watched it for the first time in probably 16, 17 years.
Dissecting every subtle signal from both actresses. And while Gadot hasn't gone on record about the feud, anonymous sources claim her off-camera remarks left little doubt. She was no longer willing to stick around for what she saw as a sinking ship.
This movie was like you took the original Snow White and just put everything through this filter of liberalism. It wasn't through a filter of Japanese anime, it was through a filter of liberalism.
Away from the spotlight, tension continued to build. Reports suggest that Disney executives were pushing hard for bold, inclusive changes, including replacing the iconic Seven Dwarfs with a group of magical, CGI-enhanced creatures.
Studios really need to go back to what they originally did, which was tell your stars to shut up and not say things, because no one is paying to hear your star say offensive things off the screen.
While some praised this as a refreshing move, others, including cast members, weren't on board. Gal Gadot, once seen as the stabilizing force on set, reportedly voiced deep discomfort with the direction things were headed. I wasn't just fighting for my role.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming
So she's
about
gonna die.
true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
I was fighting for the soul of the story. An anonymous insider quoted her as saying that quiet defiance resonated with many fans who felt the production was straying too far from the charm of the original.
So from the casting to the class politics, the politics, the regime politics, everything about it was liberal.
Meanwhile, Rachel Zegler continued championing a modern reimagining. Her vision, while admired by progressive corners of the fan base, was also seen by some as too radical. The divide wasn't just between actors.
I wanted to talk to you because you might be as happy as I am at the failure of Snow White.
It extended to the audience itself. Hashtags exploded across Twitter and TikTok. Heated debates unfolded everywhere from Reddit threads to YouTube reaction videos. Before we get into the next twist, what do you think? Is Disney right to revamp a classic?
Our rights are on the line, folks. Our reproductive rights.
Ugh.
Come on,
Go get Cheshire Cat.
go vote blue. And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button.
Or should it honor its roots? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're reading everything. As the noise built, so did the stakes. What had started as creative disagreement had now become something far bigger, a full-blown cultural conversation.
Snow White is generally understood to be a very, very white person. And in this case, they decided, nope, no, that doesn't make any sense. So I don't think we're allowed to say that, right? I was referring to the movie as sand beige.
And just when it seemed like things couldn't spiral any further, Disney hit the panic button. For Disney, this wasn't just a celebrity feud, it was a corporate emergency. With a reported budget surpassing $300 million, Snow White 2025.
It's been 2 years, and it's been one of many now predictable Disney failures.
Represented a massive investment and a key pillar of the studio's live-action revival slate. According to insiders, CEO Bob Iger and senior execs entered emergency strategy sessions. The goal? Damage control.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. Super weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Yeah. Disney quietly began scaling back promotional pushes, especially for Rachel Zegler. Appearances were pulled, interviews delayed, even merchandise plans were allegedly tweaked. The problem? The internet never sleeps.
But it's no really knock on her. If you did the autobiography of Malcolm X, would you cast Tom Hanks? If you remade Moana, would you cast a little Irish guy? No, you wouldn't. So that was off the top.
Every move was analyzed, every silence interpreted. When Zegler went quiet on social media, speculation flared. When Gadot appeared in unrelated interviews but subtly dodged Snow White questions, it added fuel to the fire.
And it's more than just a movie at this point, because normally I wouldn't even watch a princess movie, but it became such a punching bag.
And behind closed doors, one executive reportedly asked, "Are we losing our audience trying to modernize too much too fast?" This wasn't just a casting issue. It had morphed into a broader debate. Can modern reinterpretations coexist with cherished legacy?
You don't particularly see people who, look like me or are me playing roles like that. So it was definitely, when it got announced, it was a huge...
You mean your guess is as good as mine ethnicity?
It was trending on Twitter for days because all of the people were angry.
Or are they destined to clash? In the heart of this firestorm, two powerful personas stand tall, but on completely different ground. Gal Gadot, known for her elegance and poise, reportedly walked away.
It is not racist to suggest that a character who is described in the original as skin white as snow, that is literally how the character is described in the original, that's a character description in the same way that, as you mentioned, in Moana.
Not just for personal reasons, but as a stand for tradition. Her fans see her as someone who respects storytelling roots and isn't afraid to say no when a project loses its soul. Some reports even hint that she's now in talks with competing studios.
The culture war and a symbol, and Rachel Zegler has become the symbol of everything that's wrong with modern Hollywood right now.
Ones that promise to deliver timeless tales without rewriting their DNA. Rachel Zegler, by contrast, represents a bold, unapologetic wave of change. She's become a symbol for the new generation of actors pushing boundaries and challenging convention.
I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it, you didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White.
Right.
You should shut up and do the job.
To her supporters, she's fearless. To her critics, she's polarizing. This isn't just a character clash. It's a generational rift. A tug of war between honoring legacy and chasing relevance.
And so this bizarre fixation with race shifting everything, but only in one direction by Disney, obviously is quite strange.
Some fans argue that Zegler's approach alienated longtime Disney lovers. Others say she's simply ahead of her time. Either way, the duality is undeniable. Gadot stands for the legacy Disney built. Zegler, the future it might be heading toward.
And the audience has spoken. They were, honestly, Glenn, they were telling, every trailer that hit YouTube was getting ratioed into oblivion. And yeah, so Disney was telling you exactly what this movie was going to be.
And the world, it's watching both, with so much chaos behind the scenes. And trust me, it gets worse. The million-dollar question is, what now? Insider reports suggest that Snow White 2025 is being retooled even before its release.
These people, and this is the difference between a business owner or someone who does very well for themselves in the private sector to become wealthy, this person was born looking a certain way and has a God-given ability to lie for a living.
Post-production timelines have shifted. Marketing has gone quiet, and projections that once pointed to box office success are now being revised downward. Disney's crisis PR team is working overtime, carefully edited trailers.
So I want to get to the politics of it, because obviously this was a big thing for Rachel Zegler, the star of the film. It was a big thing for all the left-wingers who made the movie.
Reframed press interviews and new behind-the-scenes content are being crafted to steer the conversation. But can the studio change the narrative fast enough? At this point, Snow White is no longer just a film. It's a test case, a mirror reflecting the risk studios take when art, brand,
and the audience was telling them exactly what they thought of it. And now, unsurprisingly, it's flopping.
and culture collide. And no matter how the movie performs, one thing is clear. This controversy will leave a lasting mark, not just on Disney's remake strategy, but on how Hollywood approaches legacy stories going forward. This saga isn't just about two stars.
And that's really what acting is, to pretend. They didn't earn it the same way, and so it comes with this entitlement.
Or one film. It's part of a larger cultural shift playing out in real time. The Gal-Rachel conflict has opened up broader conversations about what audiences truly want. Do we crave new interpretations, or are we clinging to the nostalgia of simpler stories?
One of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Can studios satisfy both? In the age of social media, every leaked email, missed event, or passive-aggressive quote becomes canon. And for Disney, the fallout from this feud could shape how studios navigate similar challenges moving forward.
This movie, her reaction, the way they did all of it, I think this is part of the undoing of that era as well.
Some fans argue this is a long overdue reckoning. Others say it's a sign that too much change too quickly leads to creative chaos. Either way, the debate is here, and it's only growing louder. From behind-the-scenes creative battles to full-on social media meltdowns.
The movie went over budget, right? Went over about $250 million.
The story has all the ingredients of a modern Hollywood saga. Did Gal just throw shade, or is Rachel getting unfairly dragged? Let's talk in the comments. Remember to hit the like button if you enjoyed this breakdown. Subscribe for more detailed analyses of industry trends and controversies.
They replace the prince with a common criminal. So there is a prince-like figure, but he's no longer a prince. He's a criminal. And I think this plays first into the class politics of the left, which hates even the very idea of aristocracy or nobility.
And ring the notification bell to stay updated on every twist in this unfolding drama. This is Sasha Spills signing off. Trust me, the tea just keeps getting hotter. See you in the next one.